Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. We're going to do something kind of strange, I think. The idea that I have as I was sitting down at my desk here with my sketchbook and pen was to think of a creature that probably enjoys warmth in the wintertime. Maybe something like that. Kind of like, Garfield on Mondays not wanting to get out of bed. So, nothing in particular yet. We'll see what kind of shapes up. We're going to zoom in on this. Let it kind of lock down on this spot if it will. I don't know if that'll sharpen up any. I may have to revisit that. But what if... Here's a thought. Is there a difference between emo and goth? Now, goth is kind of a music-based thing as well. I'm sure there is a difference. I don't know if having a gaunt little face is the best way to go about this. But what if... I'll rework it as I go. So you could be sitting around, perhaps writing poetry, perhaps enjoying somber things. Maybe. Pale skin, maybe, too. What if... Let's get a little bit more ink on that pen. What if we had one eye kind of covered over? There was a point, I think, probably early to mid 2000s, where this thing sort of happened. Maybe I'm kind of falling out of this here in a moment too. I think it was referred to as hipsters. I know that's nothing like goth, but for some reason, something about this kind of turned into hipster-like. Maybe? Let's go with a little scrawny neck. Nothing wrong with being scrawny if if that is just how the body goes. Vitamin D can happen in pill form, I suppose. But what if we wore a toque? I'm all about toques in the wintertime. Well, technically, I'm all about bucket hats. Let's have this kind of a little lumpy. And we won't bother with the pom-pom on this one. Now, some hipsters would have a cool beard. If that's still a thing. I don't know if hipsters still exist in that way. You know, you go to Seattle or Portland, Oregon. What if we had sort of an ironic shirt, but not a band shirt, or maybe it is a band. We'll figure that out in a moment. That's an unusual face that I have there so far. What do I want to do with these hands or arms or what if... So I should have had the shoulders raised for what I just had pop into my head. I can still do that. Okay. The reason for that is we're going to go... Right now it looks like wings. That's funny. We're going deep hands into pockets. Now maybe we'd have a cool sleeve tattoo. Over here. I don't know what that is. And on this side, we'll have part of a anchor. Kind of a Sailor Jerry kind of thing going on with that side. Over here, there'd be another tattoo. Okay. I'll figure out a way to fix that. Gotta have a flea market belt buckle, I think. This one would be from like a rodeo, maybe. It's a cool little picture of like a steer or a bull. Let me show you what that looks like. Huh? Let's get out of this for a second. Let's go back. I'll have to figure out how to fix that after. Right here, we're going to say rain, bow. Right here. That's kind of zany. Now, let's fill that in a little bit. Now, I don't remember what the character looks like. I think kind of little round cheeks. Maybe like bangs and piggy tails. And some sort of like super collar. But like a, I don't know, a rainbow infused Pippi Longstockings maybe. Kind of like long legs or something too. I don't know exactly what that would look like. Okay. Now we hide the mistakes with a cup of water that I just brought up, a pen, a sized brush, and I'm going to blur my horrible mistakes with this. I don't know if people still collect t-shirts from bands, like band t-shirts. I think people do. I know you can buy reproductions. I'll say this much about the world of t-shirts or merch when you go to a concert. In a lot of ways, that might be one of the primary ways that the band actually makes money for the crew. So when you're like, oh, I don't want to pay $30 or $40 for a t-shirt, that's something to keep in mind, because sometimes they don't make a lot of money when they're touring. They're paying for certain things, like the venue might have to be paid first. Then you'd have to pay for, let's say, Teamsters. So that could be, the truck drivers. You want to make sure that the security gets paid. So certain things have to be paid, because that is the big expense of the touring band. And the hope is not just to break even, but hopefully to make a couple of bucks out of the whole thing. Merch, though, merch is usually like the real deal, up first kind of money thing. How's that look, by the way, with the raised shoulder thing that I ended up doing? So I'll try to kind of blur out some of that other part of that mistake. So originally I was going to have the shoulders down here. Let's clean that. Now when I was younger, I used to kind of be a hired gun of sorts with playing guitar. And that was always kind of fun. Now, let's see here. Now, these are kind of coming back into fashion now, I think, where people like to have cool tears in their pants, and they'll actually pay for pants that look like this. The tears that I got in my pants, I earned those the old-fashioned way. Anyway, so some of the stuff that was fun to listen to, and you know, if you had to play a gig, Some Kind of Wonderful and Brown Eyed Girl were staples at the time. And then some other tunes kind of got popular as well. Semisonic, Closing Time was a popular one for local bands to learn. But yeah, Brown Eyed Girl, Some Kind of Wonderful. So, I mean, those were crowd pleasers. Sweet Caroline, another crowd pleaser. So that's quite a while ago. Let's work on these shoes a little bit. I'm still partial to wearing Chuck Taylors. I've been wearing them since I was a kid. They are, to me, the funnest and the best all around wear and tear, flexible shoe. And if you're somebody that kind of suffers a little bit with trying to find wide shoes, well, get yourself a pair of Chucks. Now, the real deal Chucks, yeah, that's cool if you can get those. I know there's lots of other canvas shoes that you can get, so I mean, I'm not paid to wear Chuck Taylors. You can get yourself a pair of canvas shoes, probably at the Gap or Old Navy. And I think what's fun about them is that they're kind of customizable, you know? I'm pretty sure. I started off the new year by drawing a pair of Chuck Taylors, and I was going to look up to see if something like that existed, where that, you know, that all-star would just appear all over the shoe. Anyway, I didn't look that up yet, but I'm sure it does. So that's kind of as much of a, I don't know what this is. Not really a hipster. Not really a goth. Not really emo. Emotive. Sort of just a happy-go-lucky, androgynous, super cool something or other going on here. Let's focus on the pants a little bit, and then we'll be done here soon enough. So I'm going to bring out the bunny pen. I'm going to add a little splash of awesome in in here. Just gonna do a little bit around the edge first. Now, I don't go looking for vintage jeans, but if you get the chance, if you're out and about and you see a really old pair of jeans, well, those are worth the bucks. And there are people that are looking for old jeans, like constantly looking for old jeans. So, not that I'm trying to give away, secrets or anything like that, but like, I have no interest in them, and I'm not like a reseller of stuff. That's not really my thing. But that's a heads up of cool, I guess, for you folks if you're looking for things that you want to flip for money. Real deal old, like super old jeans. Now, you may not notice the color that I put on that, but we're going to put a little hint of color in the rest of this. Then I'll spin out a couple of things. You can't have a rainbow without at least showing some part of the rainbow. Yellow. Green. Oh yeah, green. That blue again? Okay, let's go to that blue again. Blue. Purple. Leave that one like that. And let's just put the business all yellow for bright. So we're just now finishing up the last little thing. I'm just doing a little outline. Let's see. Here we're going to say this is always the dilemma for, for so many people. Actually, that was a weird mistake. Sometimes I'm like thinking ahead of stuff. That's a weird looking word. And then right here we can say something like, actually right here, we'll go capital B with a little lowercase r and an R. And how about 4 R's? Easy enough. Let's back this out. I think that's it for our doodle. We got coming up on 27 minutes of that. Thanks for hanging out. I'll probably just darken in some of these letters just a little bit so that they're not totally faded, like the shirt got washed out or something. And yeah. No, let me know in the comments if there's something zany from your childhood that I need to know about. And come back again. All right. Ciao for now.